All right, game number 3 here now, guys, and I want to give a big shout out to Cold Lava, Jimmy Bates, who's been a TL member since 2003, doing that intro song. And when I was getting ready for the TSL cast this morning, I was listening to it on loop for about 3 hours. So just fantastic. Big shout out to him.
Great shout out to you. Hello, friends. Give me a message sometime. I'll take you for a beer.
And here we are on Metropolis now. We've got cross positions as expected. NaNiwa starting at the 3 o'clock as the blue Protoss. And, or excuse me, it's light green. Going for that pylon again in his main base. I don't like it. But anyway,
like it?
His opponent across at the 9 o'clock, blue Zerg, JonnyREcco.
JonnyREcco indeed. DJ Wheat's little son he wish he had that was this good at the game. Talk to me about the pylon though. Talk to me. What don't you like about it?
I don't like that. I don't think NaNiwa is getting as much utility out of it as if. Okay, let me clarify. If he puts a gateway in the main base, I don't think he's getting as much utility out of it, and there's not as many follow-ups in my eyes as if he just does the Forge expansion.
Yeah, I mean, he sacrifices a lot by not going for the Forge expansion in terms of getting the upgrades rolling nice and early on, because there are a lot of timings revolving around getting the Forge out early, getting the Twilight Council into +2, into +3, that's something we didn't see. He also sacrifices, of course, economy, but he does have faster tech. In Game 1, I think it worked out really, really well. In map number 2, not so much. I mean, the tech that he opted to go for earlier on was the Stargate, but it didn't really provide as much as he would have hoped for through going for that early on cybernetics core, which is basically the bane of this build.
Right. And NaNiwa is actually going for a Nexus first, but it still looks just a little bit off. He starts it with 100 extra minerals, so actually rallying that probe out when he had 400 and waiting for it to walk all the way over there. He's now placed his gateway, got that probe, going to drop another pylon, and then head on over to JonnyREcco's main base. We can see yet again JonnyREcco going for that safe 15 spawning pool expansion.
Yeah, 15 pull into 15 hatch. He'll wait until the overlords get into vision to see if there's if it's gateway, if it's a forge, if it's nexus first, and that will kind of tell JonnyREcco whether to go for gas or whether to take an early third base. And those options will help mold the perfect adaptation to how NaNiwa's playing. And so far, as you said in the introduction, I think he's done his homework.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. NaNiwa now coming forward, going to drop that cybernetic score to block in. And a little bit of a greedy build here, wouldn't you say, Apollo? He's got no defense, chronoing out a Zealot, but he's actually mining double gas already.
Yeah, mining double gas already is going to, of course, power through his gas income, which will lead to a lot of different options and different tech trees that NaNiwa can swing from. With the Lings coming out, usually Zerg players don't make more than 2, so it can be risky against some Zerg players, but against like JonnyREcco especially, who's only built 2 Lings every game as well, this is okay to do with. Though the wall-off isn't complete, and that means the Lings can run in. They will take a bit of damage from the Zealot, but they can get into Scout, which is important too, if he decides to go in. But to be honest, he doesn't really need to go in that far, because if you look at it, he can kind of see everything anyway. He knows that there's the Cybernetics core down there, he knows of course the Nexus will be down there, and he already has Overlords in position to dart into the main base if necessary.
And we see NaNiwa blocking off. He's actually got 2 Zealots in the choke point, blocking all Ling access. Going to go out and harass with one of those Zealots. The cybernetic score has now completed, warp gate technology on the way, but no follow-up from that. Just working on his economy, gonna get a sentry out so he doesn't die to any sort of silly quick attacks. Wants to build up the energy on that. And JonnyREcco actually hasn't responded by taking a 4th base yet, or a 3rd base, excuse me.
No, he hasn't. He did take the gas anyway, so is getting speed. This is actually becoming almost standard for Zerg plays recently, just to get the speed out early, to deny probes from moving out, to deny scouting from happening. But we do see NaNiwa going robotics facility, and then a forge quite early on here. It's not the fastest robotics facility, but it's not late at all. That was before the 6-minute mark that actually came down, so that's a decent timing. And the Overlord from JonnyREcco, he scouted almost every time NaNiwa's made a decision here, which enables him to react so well, and he actually sees the Robo and Forge.
And NaNiwa a little bit nervous here, doesn't want to pull back his sentries to deal with that Overlord in case it's some sort of a bait and a bus comes forward. He wants to keep those sentries forward. That's a strong play. Now he's bringing in a 3rd sentry and the 2nd one from the low ground to take that down. JonnyREcco, bit of a late 3rd base here. I believe it was on 44 supply. Hasn't leaned one direction or the other, but he is dropping those 4 geysers.
And he gets a complete scout with that overload. He even sees the gases on the natural. So he now knows his opponent's going to be in full gas, which either means a very Sentry, Immortal heavy style of play, or that his opponent can naturally transition over to Robotics Bay. A simple, smooth play. But look at Recco. Look at JonnyREcco. He's at layer. He's at full gases now. He hasn't got a Roach One. He hasn't got an Evolution Chamber. He's cutting a few corners of his own here upon seeing that NaNiwa wasn't doing something super aggressive. So he's got the layer out nice and early, which means he can make an Overseer. The Roach One and Evolution Chamber comes down, but with 4 gases, I would not be surprised to see some form of tech come out immediately, whether it be the Spire or Infestation Pit. That's something that definitely could happen.
Right, and we've seen JonnyREcco go to that Infestation Pit in Game 1 and Game 2. Worked out very well for him. So we'll have to see when this layer completes what he goes for. Dropping a 4th Macro Hatchery. He's got +1 attack finishing. Roaches on the way. Unfortunately, he didn't have his Overlord spread in the southeast. They're all in the northeast. So this Warp Prism flying into the 3rd base full of sentries has gone completely unscouted.
And let's see how much damage you can get off, though. It could get a lot of drone kills here, absolutely. But it's been spotted. No, it hasn't been spotted. It's not spotted. Yes, it is spotted. It was spotted by a drone at the last minute. And now NaNiwa deploys them, but how much damage can be dealt? And that looks pretty good so far if he can nail the last force field, which he does.
And there we go. Actually, a few Lings getting in there to deal damage, but more importantly, to take up the time of the sentries so they can't focus on the drones. So not a ton of drones killed there. It looks like 7 units have been killed for NaNiwa, and only... How many drones? Only 4 drones. Wow.
Yeah, 4 drones, not that much from that, but the investment wasn't that big either. If you think about it, the sentries would have been at home anyway. The Warp Prism is the kind of investment there. And I guess you could say that Immortal could have been out faster too and so on, but that's okay for NaNiwa just to get a bit of harassment dealt there to the Zerg player while taking his 3rd base. Once again, there's no Twilight Council down yet, so we cannot go into +2, which I think is maybe a mistake here from NaNiwa, who doesn't seem to be playing the best games we've seen so far from him in the last couple of months. But now JonnyREcco is throwing down the double Evolution Chamber, throwing down the Infestation Pit, as he actually had spotted that 3rd Nexus going down. So he knows that there's no 2-base ult incoming, and that he is able to start to look into the later stages of this game.
Yeah, JonnyREcco scouting this game has been incredible. Actually, this entire series, he's caught the tech in every game, as you mentioned, and goes right in when that 3rd base is about halfway done. He's got the Overseer on the top right, so he'll be able to keep an eye on that. And there's actually a changeling at the natural of NaNiwa, just sitting there, just seeing everything that's going on.
Yeah, he doesn't know about it, so that's kind of a little bit shocking there. But on the other hand, we do see the 4th base coming down for JonnyREcco, who will be starting his setup to go to Hive momentarily, with his 2-2 upgrades coming in for his Zerglings and then future Broodlords as well. NaNiwa has still not opted to go for the Twilight Council, so I don't think that's more of a mistake. I think it's more of a decision that he's made not to go for it early on. And we'll have to see how this is going to pan out, because right now he's about approaching the end of +1 armor, and of course we'll need the Twilight Council now. I'm like, I sound like some guy that's like, I have to see the Twilight Council. I always have to see it, man. Why isn't it there?
I need it.
Mad about it.
Where's the Twilight Council, man? Just give it to me.
It's still not there. There's 3 extra gateways coming, chill. There's no Twilight Council.
Well, maybe he's gonna go for shields.
Oh.
And look at the supply, actually. Very, very close here. So NaNiwa's found himself with a pretty strong mid-game army and tons of Colossi built into this. Looks like, is he going to wait for a 4th before moving out? No, he's not. He's just pushing out with 3. And a lot of active units here for JonnyREcco swarming around the middle of the map. I'm not sure if he wants a fight here, though.
Yeah, but look what's missing from the build this time for JonnyREcco is the Spire. It's only at 60 out of 100, so it's still got 40 more seconds to complete. In the meantime, there is the Zealot attack on this 4th base here. JonnyREcco completely out of position on a big map. Oh my god, he's actually not going to get the hatchery.
Oh my god. Oh, but
wait,
here comes the warping. Oh no.
What? That's like, oh, that's so funny.
Oh.
He's like, he sees the warp prism, he's like, oh, NaNiwa would never try to warp in 2 Zealots to pick that off.
He's watching this broadcast, he's kicking himself right now, but everyone makes mistakes. He's probably going to go forward and rebuild that 4th base once this big army of NaNiwa is dealt with.
11 Corruptors actually needed to take a fight here, and they're still 30 seconds away from being completed. A fight without them will mean the Colossus will reign superiority, so where are the Corruptors? They have to come. Good force fields to prevent the counterattack from coming in, but NaNiwa's in a great position here to take this fight.
Yeah, this is a devastating position for JonnyREcco, trying to dance back and forth, trying to just stall for time. He needs time for the Corruptors to start coming out. Here they are. Force field done on the ramp, so he's going to push forward, bring the Corruptors, and try to take out those Colossi. They are the key to victory. He's actually got a Warp Prism in phasing mode, so he can warp in to defend these units as well. And being pushed back, the Corruptors now starting to take down the Colossi. One is going to go down very shortly, but he's completely force fielded off. The Roaches can't get in to start dealing damage, and NaNiwa is pushing forward.
The Warp Prism did die though, which means there's no reinforcements here. There's only a couple of force fields left, one used on the ramp. Where are the rest going to go? He has to cut this army up nicely, otherwise the Roaches will get in too deep.
Oh wow, getting pushed back completely, and here comes the drone Roach flank trying to take all these units down. Only 1-1 for NaNiwa, so he doesn't have the gateway upgrades, and the Roach is actually marching straight up, gonna take out those stray sentries. Corruptors being focused down as NaNiwa is in a full retreat with only 1-1 upgrades. Taking a look at his forge, he's trying to finish +2, chronoing it out. It's about to finish up. I believe he's only got one Colossus sitting at his choke point.
It's sitting in the middle of nowhere right now, and if it doesn't retreat back, it will die. And the Roaches, what really is going to protect the third base if JonnyREcco decided to go for it? He doesn't really know about the lack of wall off, the single cannon protecting it, so is just going to return back now as the fourth hatchery is going to go down. And now once again, the Hive, every single timing we've seen dealt or pushed down here by NaNiwa just hasn't worked. That was actually a very strong one, and he used the force fields well, but he just didn't have any excess force fields to continue to use to cut the army up. And as soon as they went down, after the Colossus and Immortal fell, these 1-1 units have no match to Roaches.
Right. +2 has now finished for NaNiwa. He's working on +3, so he's realized that his upgrades are really starting to hinder him in this game. The one advantage for NaNiwa here was that he sniped that fourth base and then he attacked. And the pressure was so great, JonnyREcco couldn't find the time or the resources to rebuild that fourth hatch. So now he's got to wait all this time during the downtime to build that fourth hatch to start mining yet again.
And, that was actually, a mistake from JonnyREcco to even let that hatchery go down.
Right.
This game could have well been over if that hadn't have fallen. But once again, NaNiwa is getting ready to move out. Just pure Stalker Colossus. Am I watching MC right now? What is going on? 2-1 upgrades. Ideally, would love to have +3. So if he continues to chrono boost that out, this could go quite well for him. But the problem is, look at the defense for JonnyREcco. There's no way he can really bust through this. The fungals are now out, the spine crawls are set up, and once again, the Greatest Spire is seconds away from completing. 60 seconds remaining on that. And if that completes, there's going to be Brutals, there's no Stargate, there's no Fleet Beacon down, and there's only the Stalkers to deal the damage necessary.
Right, and it looks like NaNiwa was just set on breaking JonnyREcco and beating him before he gets to Broodlords. But with this huge defense, as you mentioned, going to be so difficult. So many Corruptors going to flank in and try to take down these Colossi. One is focused down almost immediately as the Roaches move forward, running away from the force fields. He just needs to stall until this Greater Spire finishes, which is about 10 seconds away. Infestor's now out, but they don't have Fungals with them. And NaNiwa is proceeding to continue to be aggressive here.
Yeah, he has to be. He absolutely has to be. But there's no pylon. There's no Warp Prism. I don't know why there's no reinforcements available. He's maxed out, but every unit he loses, they have to be replenished with the money he has in the bank. NaNiwa's opportunity is right now. The Brutals are morphing. There's only a few seconds remaining before it's too late.
And NaNiwa trying to drive forward to get towards those cocoons so that he can snipe the Broodlords. There are Fungals available, but the blink forward, focusing down one Broodlord, two Broodlords, they're all going down. The Colossus not being microed properly, but with the majority of the Zerglings focused down by those Colossi, it's now just Roaches against Stalkers. Sentry's able to come in and force field. Only one Broodlord able to finish. No more Fungals left on those Infestors. And it looks like the reinforcements streaming over may not be enough for JonnyREcco. He's been completely punched through. And there's NaNiwa bringing it back in game number 3.